Welcome on back to the Wild Willie Podcast Show. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby. What's been going on, Big Willie? I know you've been gone. Got done it to your team. Got done it feeling like you back on the practice field. It's been an interesting weekend. I've been seeing you over there with the black and gold, with the scuffles and the fighting and everything. Big Willie, you sure you wasn't a part of all that?
No, I didn't.
I don't know
scuffles.
now.
No, that I started any scuffles. And you're right. First of all, JJ, you can say Pittsburgh Steelers. I know you don't like mentioning my team's name. You tend to stutter anytime the Steelers come up because you have five championships. We have 6, so you get a little messed up. So overall, no, I think it's going back to Pittsburgh, Latrobe, Pennsylvania, is where the Pittsburgh Steelers hold their summer camp. It was cathartic. I didn't know I needed it until I got there. And to be honest, JJ, and I was saying this to my wife when I came back, I didn't realize how beautiful Latrobe is. Latrobe, Pennsylvania is. It's very hilly. It's very scenic. It's very outdoorsish. And I never recognized that because obviously anytime I've ever been there, I was in training camp. So I was in survival mode. Just being able to perform and get through training camp was all I cared about. So I never had a chance to look at the hills. You know, if you know anything about Latrobe, Pennsylvania, that's where the great golfer Arnold Palmer's from. You also know that's where, if you ever drink a Rolling Rock beer, that's where Rolling Rock, the distillery, is from, the brewery, if you will. And it's a lot of good time. It's a lot of golf, and it's great. So I had a great time out there for the most part. It was cathartic from this standpoint. I hadn't been back since 2012-13 when I was on the Steelers, and I had never returned back. So this is the first time I had been back since I officially left the Steelers. And it was awesome. I had an opportunity to work with the front office and do some work and kind of learn how they make the sausages, if you will, and kind of see what's the secret ingredient to being a Steeler. And it was awesome. It was a lot of knowledge. It was a lot of intel. It was a lot of just seeing how this organization has been able to survive and thrive for so long, and why Steeler fans in general are avid and super loyal fans, because just the makeup and the brand of the team. So that was great. What was also awesome, they didn't put me up in a hotel. If you know anything about when the Steelers go to camp, they stay at St. Vincent College, which is a Catholic college. Okay. And I stayed in the dorms with everybody else. I had my own little bed. I had a little desk. And it brought me back to my days when I was a rookie. And so I enjoyed it. The food was great. The people were great, man. I was able to bond with the office alignment and some of the guys that's on the team now. And it was an experience, man. It was an experience I didn't know I needed, but it was cathartic that I was able to catch up with some of my old teammates. It was cathartic from the sense I was able to see Mike Tomlin and converse with him and talk with everybody. So it was really, really, I walked away feeling uplifted in a lot of ways, which is great, man. Right? Anytime you go back to, people go to high school reunions all the time, and they go back to wherever they once stomped, and they just want to kind of touch the grass again, or sit in the stands again, or talk to that one teacher that impacted their life. I kind of had that feeling. It felt good to feel. It felt good. And, not for nothing, JJ, they gave me like a 5-star general welcome, right? Like I guess my legacy and all the craziness I was about and how I played still rings true to this day. The stories of Willie Cologne still vibrate through the halls. So to see some of these young men look at me like I was this old war vet that had, like that old guy that had survived the many wars and came back.
Like you used to look at everybody else when they used to come back when you was there.
100%. Like how I used to look at Mean Joe Green or Mel Blount and all these guys. Like I had this vision of who they were when they played and how historic they are. And I kind of got some of that love. So it was odd, but it made me feel good. So I appreciate that love. And I got to see Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers looks damn good in camp, by the way. I don't know if they're talking about that enough. Aaron Rodgers is doing a hell of a job in training camp. For a guy who's 41 years old, or soon to be 41 years old, or 42 or however old he is, he looked good. He looks really, really good. He looks in shape. And the rest of the team is really kind of trying to get on his level, so to speak. It's a young group. It's a lot of group that's got a lot of dog fights ahead of them, but everybody it seems committed to the cause.
I was
happy to see that, man.
I got one question before you get off that with the Aaron Rodgers situation. You being a veteran on the line, blocking for a Ben Roethlisberger, knowing that a line is what make the quarterback and everything else click and makes everything go far as the running backs, the time got done to get the receivers to the ball. Get the ball to him, blocking for your quarterback. By Aaron Rodgers looking good and being 41, 42 years old, are you impressed with the line that you see for far as blocking for him?
Our offensive line is young,
Yeah,
and
that's
when
what
you
I
have
was
a young
saying.
offensive line, you got to allow them to go through their battles. However, being around them, man, they're all wrapped up in trying to be the best they can be, and I mean that. There's no slight of effort. These guys seem like they're really entrenched in trying to be the best line it can be. One thing that we used to deal with during training camp, and I don't know if this is true for every training camp because I've only been a part of two because I've only been on two teams during my time in the NFL. When I was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, we had an offensive coordinator by the name of Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is a historic head football coach. Went on to win a Super Bowl, not only with the Steelers, but also one with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. He was a head coach there as well, right? Fast forward, he used to say something this time of year to the group, meaning the offensive union and different units, the receiving group, offensive line, whoever, etc. He would say, "We are not the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers will show up on open day. We are collectively a bunch of individuals trying to become Pittsburgh Steelers."
Whoa.
And he would say that repeatedly. And it was kind of like, hey, for those that think they've made the team, don't be so comfortable, right? Because you may be the one be pushing out the door. And for those still fighting to get on the team, don't cut yourself. Because what happens, JJ, a lot of guys start counting their reps, right? They may get week one, they may get 5 to 6 reps, and then the reps may get, windowed down to 2 or 3, right? Or how many opportunities they get within a training camp. So a lot of guys tend to, one, start counting their reps or start counting how they're being treated or the interaction with coach. And as these cut deadlines start to come upon everybody, they start feeling like, man, I ain't gonna make this team because I got 2 other guys ahead of me. I'm not gonna put my best foot forward. I'm not gonna do X, Y, Z. All I want to do is get good tape out there so the next team can get me, right? Like they're looking ahead and being very present because the reason he made those remarks is because, one, guys get hurt every day in practice. So even though you was number 4 or 3, Tuesday you may be the second guy up, right? Or you may be the first guy up. So if you don't mentally and physically prepare yourself to be your best self each and every day, when your opportunity does come, you're not ready for it. And so that's how he was pretty much getting everybody in the room to really be in line with, hey, man, if you don't put your best foot forward and you start cutting yourself or start getting in your feelings about what you should have or where you should be, then when the opportunity comes, one, you're not going to be able to respond because you're emotional about it. And 2, you will put bad tape out there where it's going to make their decision on cutting you not easy, right? And so it's interesting to see guys who are out there fighting it and scrapping, and it's interesting to see guys
scrapping.
who, yes, it's also interesting to see guys who, because they've either been on the team for a year or 2, feel like they've already arrived when only if they knew they're on the bubble. And I say that because I was able to kind of be privy to certain conversations, so it's a very, very interesting process. And as the summer kind of moves along, as August kind of roll along, every organization is going to have to make a couple of hard decisions: who stays and who goes. And so that's why it's always important for those guys, man, who feel like they're on the bubble, to really continue to fight like dogs. And for those who feel like they've already made it, like they're already on the team, don't be so comfortable because it's a cutthroat world out there, man.
Well, Big Willie, suppose I'm on the team and I'm sitting there and I'm getting majority of all the reps, and I just happen to drop down eventually to about 2 or 3 reps. Is it a possibility that I still can be a starter and they just want to see everybody else or what they got?
Yeah, that's very much possible. I mean, sometimes reps necessarily don't dictate or it's not an indication of how they see you. It may be like, man, we got other pieces we got to evaluate, and we may have to see more of them. So that's definitely part of it. Or 2, if you're a guy who's a little more seasoned up there in years as far as playing, and they may hold you back because they really want to get you to the starting line. So there's a lot of different reasons for that.
Oh, so they'll hold me back because they want to get me to the starting line like a starting?
They want to get you starting line from a health standpoint. If they keep you on the field and you practice, when we already have you penciled up as a guy that's going to be able to start, we got to now preserve your body because we still got preseason games and we still got more practices ahead of us, right? So we may kind of just say, all right, you've acquired this number of reps during practice. Let's kind of tail you back so we can prevent any stupid injuries or nagging injuries, right?
Gotcha.
Because once the season starts, like September blows by in football, right? September and October, those 2 months in football, they just kind of like, and then all of a sudden you're looking at Thanksgiving. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, here goes December. And then you're trying to evaluate where you're at as a team. And some teams take off and continue to go vertically. And other teams are kind of stalled. And other teams, go south for whatever reason. So I think for a lot of ball clubs, you're just trying to get your best guys on the team physically be able to perform for week one without suffering from any nagging injury in training camp or any setback. So it's a weird game you kind of have to play as a coach, because even though you like a guy, you're like, man, I need to see more out of him, but I know he's going to be there, but I still got to see more to kind of evaluate him. But then there's other guys who are deadlocked because of either contract or they're the number one at the position. Then you got to say, all right, how much do I want to see this guy that I already know already, right? Let me start seeing more guys behind him so we can have a better, true evaluation of if they're going to be on the team or not. So GMs have a hard job. Yeah. I underestimated how hard a general manager job is in regards to running a football team. I mean, there's things that are happening every day at every minute with a staff that you got to depend on it for them to do their job. So it's a lot. It's just a lot going on.
Well, Big Willie, I ain't gonna lie, goddamn, from listening to you, I can see you being on that sideline coaching eventually, Big Willie. You never know what the future might hold.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind it, obviously, but I think one of the reasons I appreciate being in this lane, because you get to know the man underneath the helmet, and why decisions are made behind certain guys who are picked, right? And it was crazy. Every team has their mold or model and how they select a guy, right? And one of the things I didn't realize is it referenced to picking a guy. Like you assume a guy who's 6'5", 300-something pounds, you're like, oh, this guy got to be a defensive lineman, and this guy's going to be an offensive lineman, right? You just kind of put those guys in a nutshell. However, there's a lot of little things that go along with that to see if he's truly the guy you're looking at, right? And I mean, from a body size thing, like you don't realize when you see a big guy, how much do they evaluate his structure? Meaning, if a guy is 6'5", 300-something pounds, but he has thin ankles and thin wrists, that's an indication that that guy may be more prone to injuries, right? And how he performs on the field really depends on a lot of his makeup. Does he have room to grow? Has he capped out from a growth standpoint? And it's a lot how guys run, is like how a guy runs with the ball. There's such thing called as a waist bender, and then there's a knee bender, right? Things like that. Is he a high hip guy, low hip guy? All these kind of categories, all these athletes fall in, but there's a mold each team is kind of look at in reference to who they want to be on their team. And there's so much science behind it too. So like I said, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I was privy to a lot of good conversations. I was privy to kind of sit in and just soak it up. This is the first time I ever felt like I was a true sponge and sat back like, well, I don't know what this means. And then being able to explain what they were trying to, execute from picking the right guy, so to speak. And there's no such thing as the right guy or the perfect guy. It's just a matter of, do you think this guy will be able to perform for you and how long? Gotcha. And it's interesting, man. I learned a lot, and I was grateful for the opportunity. Sure, man.
Well, Big Willie, while you was out there sweating, I had an interesting weekend myself. I got done and went down to Tebow's, got done at Crawfish, and got me some of them good old crawfish I was telling you need to get while you was down here in deep South Mississippi. And Big Willie, whoo, they were good. They were spicy. My nose was running, Big Willie. I couldn't got there and wipe my goddamn nose because my hand had all that hot spice seasoning on it. So I had to just and suck it up, Big Willie, but it was good, Big Willie. I ain't gonna lie. I had them crab legs, Big Willie. I had them dungeon crab legs, Big Willie. I had them bar shrimp, Big Willie, and I told them to give it to me extra messy. Ooh, that's when they add all the good seasoning and butter to it, Big Willie. I took a video just so I can show you. I didn't want to send it to you down there while you was up in Pittsburgh, but I made sure I videotaped it. So when you come back, that can be one of the first spots you hit, Big Willie. And in the process of me doing that, so Gucci got there and stepped on my dog, got there at our leg, because she got there and was acting crazy for some reason. He always chase her, and she stepped on the leg and broke his toenail. So we had to take him to the doctor and find out why he was limping, and found out so Gucci broke his toenail, and that's why he was limping, Big Willie.
So hold up.
Oh, now she's looking at me crazy because I'm telling on.
So Gucci broke Dez's toenail by stepping.
So
What was she
Gucci.
doing that she stepped on Dez? She lives with Dez. She knows Dez is always walking around
Thank
underneath
you.
her. How did she step on Dez's toenail?
Exactly. She gonna
And how
step on
long
his
was Dez's toenail for her to step on?
Exactly. So she had to step. I don't know what she was doing, but now she in there soaking them in Epsom salt because we took them to the doctor today because it's Monday, and they told me she need to give him these pills that they gave him and soak them up in some Epsom salt up with his foot. So that's what she in there doing that, and she thought I was gonna do that, Big Willie. I said, no, ma'am. I'm not finna get there and sit there and make up for your mistake. You the one broke his toenail, so you gonna get in there and soak him. Talking about I gotta soak. No, you gonna soak him first, then you go back there, goddamn, and soak. But until then, you gonna take care of him first. I say that's just like robbing a goddamn bank, and you want me to do the time for your crime. No, you did
Has
it.
Dez been acting funny around So Gucci?
Oh yes, he got there every time she come around. He growls at her. He mad at her, Big Willie. I ain't gonna lie. And she called, I'm so sorry. He's still mad at her, Big Willie. I say I'd be mad too. And then on top of that, Big Willie, I got done to cook some of my good old sketti for the kids, Big Willie.
Sketti.
It was got done at Sunday. That way, I don't have no time, Big Willie. Even on my off day, got done on working. Boy, them grandkids came over, got done it. They swim. They got done and had fun. I cooked 2 big pots of sketti, Big Willie. I had a spicy pot and a non-spicy pot for the grandkids, got done it. And boy, they tore it up with none left, Big Willie. I gotta send you that too, Big Willie. You ain't never tasted none of my sketti, have you, Big Willie?
Good. I haven't. But one thing I realized,
Big Willie, when you come down, I'm gonna make sure I hook you up, Big Willie. I throw down with it. I have pepperoni. I have got done it sausages. I have got done it the mushrooms. I have just all different types of seasoning with the yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, onions. Got done it, Big Willie. Big Willie, that pepperoni got done in sketti. Ain't no joke. I'm telling you, gonna love it.
Well, I mean, first of all, that's why you go to the grand folks' house, so you can have fun and eat good. That's the sole purpose when you grand folks are still around. That's what they can. That's what they can supply you. But nevertheless, I do want to say this, that on top of you talking about spaghetti, I did have spaghetti while I was in Pittsburgh, and they put sugar in their spaghetti.
Man, do you know my partner was just saying, I don't like no goddamn sugar in my spaghetti. He said, my wife just cooked it yesterday, he said, when I cooked mine. And he said he couldn't stand that sugar. She said, well, that's the way I do mine. He said, well, fix me a different pot and don't put sugar up in my spaghetti. Big Willie, how did you like it?
I didn't like it. I'm not a sugar and spaghetti guy. I'm not a damn sure not a sugar and grits guy.
Me
so
neither.
that really turned my ass. I don't like sweet spaghetti. Like I love the taste of the tomato sauce and the meat and the Italian seasoning. And if you do the noodles right, that slaps too. Oh, yeah. I don't like sugar in my spaghetti, and I don't like sugar in my grits.
Me neither.
I'm gonna be honest with you, JJ.
Yeah,
it's a sin.
It's
fucking sinful.
It is.
Yeah,
I agree.
So do you put sugar in your
Hell no. Keep the sugar away from me, from the spaghetti, the grits, got done it, all that. Whatever you put sugar in, I don't want it, got done, unless it's regular cereal.
I do want to bring up a situation since you talked about So Gucci stepping on Dez's foot and breaking his toenail. We did have an incident like that in my house. So my daughter's godfather, shout out to D State, brought her and the kids this kind of it's a scientific it's like a butterfly net thing. So anyway, let me explain. So before a butterfly turns into a butterfly, it goes through these phases, right? So it starts off as an egg,
caterpillar,
on a leaf, and then they go into the shell thing. I forgot the name of some scientific name, right? It goes from that, and then from that it goes into the cocoon, excuse me, and then it morphs into the butterfly, and then you're supposed to release the butterflies, right?
Exactly.
So they go through all these osmosis, and while I was away in Pittsburgh, the butterflies started to come out of his cocoon, right? So he's 1 or 2 or 3 butterflies. It was like total of 4. So in the process, how you feed them is there's like this little dish with a little sponge on it, and you're supposed to squeeze some orange juice or something sweet, because that's how the butterflies eat off, right? They eat off it. So in the process, my wife was feeding the butterfly, and she ended up injuring one of the butterflies. So the butterfly was fully out of its cocoon, but I think she had did something where like it couldn't close his wings, and I think one of his legs were broke. Right? What she did and how she did, I don't know. So anyway, 3 out of the 4 butterflies came out great, beautiful wings, all different patterns, or beautiful color. But this one butterfly, even though it was live, it was just sitting on the net flapping. So yesterday we had some folks over and we were sitting poolside, and my wife is like, we should let go of the butterflies. And prior to that, she had been feeling heartbroken about her messing up this one butterfly. And I was saying, babe, it's a butterfly. Like, why are you getting so emotional about it? Like, let the goddamn, like, it's a bug, essentially. Like, you slap, I seen you slap down bugs all the time and swat. And I was like, you brought 4 fucking fly swatters just because you can't stand flies, right? So I was like, a fly is just a butterfly is just an upgrade from a fly. That's all it is, right? So she was heartbroken about this goddamn butterfly. And the kids were all into it. They loved it. So we're sitting poolside. She hands me this net. It's like a basket, but it's a net. She's like, Willie, it's time to release the butterflies. I'm like, fine, let's fucking do it, because I got tired of hearing it. And I got tired of hearing about her. She damaged this one goddamn butterfly. So I go in there, JJ. I open the thing, and I take out one butterfly. It actually sits on my hand. I show the kids, woof, off and running. Take another butterfly, sits on my hand. Show the kids, woof. The third one, same thing. The fourth one that's injured with the broken leg. Beautiful wings, sitting right there on the net. I take him out. He's not coming, so I kind of knock him out. Right, I kind of just hit the thing and he knocks out. This thing laid there on the goddamn ground, and just it was just flapping around, but couldn't fly. So Keisha's like, "Oh my god, the kids are gonna be traumatized by this. The goddamn butterfly can't fly." She's like, "Willie, when the kids turn their back and go upstairs, just throw it over the fence, right?" So what do I do? I said, "No, I'm gonna leave his ass right there." No, I left his ass right there. My buddy comes over and he goes, "Oh, this is what you want?" He takes the butterfly and throws it in the air, thinking that when it feels the wind underneath his wings, it'll kind of just start up a little bit. That shit felt like a bomb. It fell on the other side of the fence and nosedived into the rocks in front of the kids. They were distraught. They started crying.
Oh, y'all made them even more traumatized. They hated him.
They were like, no. I'm like, I was sitting there with my cigar. I was like, that's a cold world. That's a cold world. And my wife is like, it's my fault. It's my fault. I'm like, get over it. It'll be fine. Butterflies are everywhere. You'll be all right. So we had a little animal incident like that.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
let's take a break. Come on back. Wild Willie Podcast Show.
God.
Welcome on back to the Wild Willie Podcast Show. I'm Willie Colon, and he is
JJ, baby.
JJ, you know who Michelle Obama is, right?
What? Yes, sir. We know our beautiful black queen.
Right. Well, she had something interesting to say about Stephen A. Smith and the whole sports debating world in reference to how she sees it today. Here she goes. She said, if I listen to ESPN for an hour, it's like watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's the same drama, and they're yelling at each other, and they don't get along. She explained, Stephen A. Smith, he's just like every other Real Housewife. So that's why I'm like, what's the difference? It's just, it's just sociological drama. JJ, me being in that sports world, right? I'm on TV talking sports and kind of, debating, kind of going back and forth with my colleagues. I don't know if I'm offended by that, but I want to ask you a question. Does she have a point? For somebody that does watch First Take, that's somebody that does listen to sports, drama and all that other stuff.
Big Willie, I'm going to be honest. I have never even thought about that being in a situation like that, and it's never came across my mind. But now that Michelle Obama, said it like that, she makes a valuable point. It is a lot of controversy. It is a lot of arguing. It is a lot of people trying to get their point across that make you think that they are right on whatever they got done and talking about versus what the other person is talking about. And we are over here trying to decide, Stephen A. Smith does got a point. Willie Colon does have a point. You know what? Willie did say that right. You know what? Stephen got there and then y'all going off and we into it like, Big Willie, I ain't gonna lie. It's definitely the same. The sports world has definitely become a reality show. And people are tuned in to see what negativity that they're gonna get done and talk about, just like what they're talking about with my Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and Michael Parsons. And what the fans out here doing, we going crazy. And I'm pretty sure Jerry Loving got done at the controversy. He's loving the attention, knowing he gonna pay that dude any goddamn way. Cause who in the hell gonna let somebody like Michael Parsons, the goddamn the captain of our defense, go to somebody like a Philly and be a Super Bowl or even just a superstar team that they already is, knowing he gonna sign that boy. And all the sports world out here, we just mad. We sitting here going off talking about Jerry Jones. We sitting here talking about how big of a fool he is. And all this going on with the sports world, goddamn it, and they know what they're going to do already.
So when she first made those comments, I did feel like, damn, is she kind of calling us girly girls? Like, are we being extra dramatic and kind of, I was really trying to dive in and read in between the lines. And then a clip of one of my ex-teammates, Ryan Clark, explaining his stance he had in reference to Jalen Hurts being a top 5 quarterback or not, right? And he was responding to what Cam Newton said about him and how it was just a back and forth between RC and Cam Newton to RC, and how it was just multiple layers of people jumping in. And it wasn't just about Jalen Hurts. It was about personal digs at the messenger, right? About comparing career as far as resume, who did what, who didn't do this, who's capable of sitting at the table and having a conversation, who's not capable of sitting at the table of conversation. And what I mean capable in reference to like valid, like there's certain conversations you're allowed to speak on because your resume speaks for itself and it gives you the kind of the validation to speak on those topics. And you see a lot of these guys who go from these sports shows going to their own platforms, podcasts, and have these side conversations and speaking to the ether or directly at the messenger or responding to things that they feel like they need to speak up on, which is all it's America. We all have freedom of speech to a certain degree. With all that said, you do see countless sports figures have their own platform and speak on things like from a side standpoint. You get what I don't know if I'm being very clear about it, but so it does add this level of drama, right? When RC says something and then Cam Newton responds, it's like, oh, let me see what these two have to say, right? Like, or if it's Cam Newton responding to whoever else, it's like, oh, let me see how these two kind of go back and forth. And we're all watching it through social media. So it does have this kind of reality show kind of feel to it, where we're always watching to see what the next person is going to say and how, and if that person can take it to the next level, right? When RG3 made those comments about Angel Reese, people went crazy. Like Shaq threatened to punch him in the face. Ryan Clark stepped up and said something about it, right? And so now you have these athletes, and we're in a time right now, and it's a good time, JJ, and I say that from this standpoint. For so long, we trusted the J journalist or the beat writer or somebody that was in the locker room day after day interviewing these athletes. Whatever came out of their mouth, we treated it as gold, right? We just that's what it was. Now we're in a state where these individual athletes now have either retired or currently still playing, have their own platform, and they can tell you the truth because they're walking and living it each and every day, and they have the relationships with other players on other teams to kind of speak on things in certain situations or experiences. So now the J journalist, the guy who's with the mic that's been, in that goddamn locker room for 20 years and seen multiple generations roll through that locker room, his voice is starting to become a little more lower and somewhat muted because people don't want to hear from him anymore. They want to hear from the guy that was actually in the trenches wearing the helmet and experienced whatever happened within that team or his course of his career. So it's just a different volume. So that's why when you see podcasts like 4th and 1 with Cam Newton, or when you see podcasts like All the Smoke podcasts with Matt Barnes and Steve Jack, or you see the Pivot with Ryan Clark and Shannon and Fred, and you see, the 504 boys or 305, one of them boys is with Jeff Teagan. And when you see all these athletes have these podcasts, it does come with a level of like, damn the J journalists, I want to hear what these guys have to say and hear these guys go at each other and create this drama and whatever. And so when you hear all this stuff, you're like, man, it does make you feel like you're watching somewhat of a reality show outside of a reality show.
Yes.
And so she does have a point. I just never took that take because I always thought it was like, no, these are just brothers that were hyper intelligent
Oh
and
no.
super in the know. But you see the way they respond to certain things, you're like,
Like y'all be
we are
wanting to
kind of
come
walking
across
that
that
line a little bit.
table at each other, Big Willie. I ain't gonna lie. It's like y'all got down and want to come across that table each other, got down to Big Willie, to get your point across. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, you know what happens, Jay? I think as the older you, as an athlete, the older you get, and the more times you tell your story or either seek validation or not seek validation, the comments that you hear from the outside world do kind of it does it's triggering, right? Because as much as we love the way we played or the time we played in, like I was fortunate to play for an organization and a team that had been to multiple playoffs, AFC appearances, Super Bowls. So I was a part of the glory days. But as an individual, I try not to have theater of the mind, right? Meaning when I tell my career, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, so we was 4th-and-1. I saw Haloti Nada, man. I put my hand in the dirt and I got underneath his pads and I dumped it on his head and I said, yeah, bitch, this one's for the Steelers. Never said that, right? But but if you see guys, the older they get, they tend to have theater of the mind in
Mm-hmm.
reference to their career or certain situations that happen around their team. And you can get called out for it, or you can be, or people can just listen. Be noted that others will check you on that, right? And check your resume and see if you can speak on the things you say you feel like you can speak on. Especially player amongst player, right? Like that's where it gets kind of contentious, and people can be like, "All right, this motherfucker think he's all that," when you were just a role guy, and then that's how people like to pull your card in that regard. So it's a different dog, man. But Michelle Obama may be on something, but believe it or not, that's what sells, JJ.
Exactly. I mean, look at how Shannon Sharp and Skip Bailey were. Shannon Sharp got down and left because some things Skip Bailey showed. And if that ain't reality got done at its baddest or worst by itself, what is? Because Shannon Sharp was like, I can't believe you said that.
Let's talk about Las Vegas. When's the last time you been to Vegas, Jay?
Big Willie, I went to Las Vegas, got done it, and I ain't gonna lie, this was at the beginning of the year because Gucci had our real estate event down there that we went. And Big Willie, I never been, and I was excited about going, but it was like a really big hype to me, Big Willie. I mean, besides the street lights and the high price restaurants and paying the extra taxes for parking and different stuff like that, and just going to all the casinos, it just if it wasn't for the entertaining, I could say I went and I wouldn't have to go back again.
Oh, that's tough. Well, I think some people agree with you. There's an article that came out that said Las Vegas June tourism declines by 11% from 2024. This is wild because it says around 400,000 fewer people traveled to Las Vegas in June compared to 2024, according to the new data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority. It says the strip occupancy rate followed from a pattern falling from 83.3% to 81.9%. Overall, people aren't going to Vegas because they can't afford it. I mean, it's just too pricey. I mean, and we also have to understand this. When I was in the NFL and I loved Vegas, I thought Vegas was everything. I think it was the perfect amount of sin that I wanted to be a part of, right? Between the booze, the women, the gambling, the pool parties, it was everything. But I do know in June and July and August, that's pool season. That's when I was usually training around that time. But if there was time that I did sneak out and go to Vegas, Vegas was slammed with people, right? Because they had the summer league basketball, there was different shows, there was always things going on in Vegas. That's no longer there. I think a large part of Vegas that's hurting people was because when table culture hit the nightclubs, it was a big thing to have a table in Vegas, right? To show up, buy 4 or 5 bottles with 10 or 12 people and go absolute hamburger and light it up. That was a thing to kind of showboat with a table in Vegas, whether at a pool party or a nightclub. Table culture is gone. That has killed the nightclubs, and people aren't doing it more. And people don't drink. We talked about this before, JJ. People don't drink like they used to, right? These kids either want a hard seltzer, fucking vodka and tonic.
Yep.
The days of popping or pouring a goddamn hypnotic or having all that other shit, them days is over. So people aren't buying tables like that, and I think that's hurting Vegas as well as far as nightclub culture. And I just think Vegas has priced a lot of people out. People just can't spend that type of money on a weekend and realize like, all right, I just threw $20K away. Let me try to get this back. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen, especially with this, everything that's going on in this economically in this country. With all that said, I was in Vegas And the last time I was in Vegas, man, it was fun for the most part because I know how to enjoy myself in Vegas. And at the time I was drinking, so it made it worth my while. But I do see one of the things, the issues that Vegas deals with is it's not necessarily a family town. Even though Vegas would tell you that's not true. We have this, we have that. Vegas has always been about concerts, summer parties, the nightclub, the restaurant scene, and just the wild times that they promote, right? What happens in Vegas, stay in Vegas. You've seen it, you've heard it a million times. People just don't want to see it in Vegas no more, right? They don't give a fuck what happens in Vegas. They feel like the fun they can have in their own town for a lot cheaper price and be able to go home, sleep in their bed. Moving along, Jay, we got to talk about one of your favorite running backs, Saquon Barkley. Do you not like Saquon Barkley, JJ?
Yeah, do I, Big Willie? You're very funny. How can I not know him, Big Willie? He's been in our division for years, ever since he's been in the NFL, and he happened to win a Super Bowl last year.
Breaking news, it says here, this is according to ESPN, it says Eagles running back Saquon Barkley did not accept President Donald Trump's invitation to serve on his council, sports, fitness, and nutrition. He said Monday, adding that he was shocked that his name was mentioned as a big part of it. A couple months ago, it was brought to my team about the council, so I'm not really too familiar with it. This is Barkley. I felt like I'm going to be super busy, so me and my family thought it would probably be the best not to accept that. I was definitely a little shocked when my name was mentioned. I'm assuming it was something great, so I appreciate it, but was a little shocked when my name was mentioned. Now, this comes after Barkley faced some backlash a couple weeks ago for pretty much golfing with President Trump, jumping on Air Force One and kind of being seen buddy, and people really felt some type of way. Also, we must note that when it came to the ring ceremony, a couple Eagles didn't go to the White House and accept the ring. They kind of stood out of it, and Jalen Hurts was one of them. But to throw more fire, not fire, but this is what it is, a part of this council, so it says right here, it says the council will have up to 30 members, per the executive order. It says the people that will be on this council will be Nick Bosa, Tua Tagovailoa, Harrison Buckner, Lawrence Taylor, my idol, and Jack Nicklaus and Wayne Gretzky, and current big-time golfer Bryson DeChambeau. These are guys that will be on the council for sports, nutrition, and fitness, according to Trump. JJ, I'm going to let you speak and tell me how you feel about it.
Big Willie, I will be honest with you. When you said Lawrence Taylor, I just had to laugh because they had they was on TV the other week announcing the committee crew that was going to be a part of it. And it's like Trump basically forced Lawrence Taylor to come up there and speak when he did want to speak. And Lawrence Taylor got up there and said, "Hey, what's going on? I'm part of the committee. I don't know what I'm here for and what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm here and I'm just going to be a part of whatever they need me to be a part of."
Right, and so, and that's the thing. So for like Barkley's sake, he got a lot of criticism and backlash from not only Eagle Nation and all the other fans for even being buddy and golfing with President Trump. He went on to say, I also golfed with Obama and his family when he was in office, so I don't see the big deal. I just consider it a right, he considered it an honor to golf with the president. That's how he perceived it. So I think after he received the backlash from golfing with President Trump, there's no doubt in my mind that his folks said, you know what? Stay out of the political world.
Exactly.
Because it can't help you and it can also hurt. It can definitely hurt you, right? Like there's no way of appeasing or being seen in the right light if you stand for one side or another, right? Like I'm pretty sure when he got caught golfing with Obama, there was some people on the right that was like, you asshole, you're golfing with a loser, right? And then when he went with Trump, he was like, you're an asshole. You're golfing with, a horrible man, so to speak. So I think Saquon was like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. Let me just stay the hell out the way so I don't have to receive some of the fucking negative criticism I've been receiving solely because all I did was have a round of golf with the president, right? And so it's interesting that he's now at the corner of leave me the fuck alone between go to hell and let's not talk about it anymore.
Exactly.
That's where he's at. But let's be honest, in this climate, if you openly saying you vote for Trump, it comes with some heat. So you got to be proud. You got to stand on it. And I just think he was like, listen, man, I just want to be Saquon Barkley, right? Like, I don't want to be in the mix of anything.
For football,
I just want to be the football
stuff.
player and get credit for that. So, do you think he handled it right?
I think he did, Big Willie. You know, his profession is playing football. You don't want to get caught up where people dislike you or like you for the simple fact of what you're doing for the president. Because right now, you know, the president, you know, have certain people that love him and certain people that hate him, and you don't want to get caught up in the mix. Your job is to go out here, be the people person that you could be. Hopefully, wear that gold jacket, become a Hall of Fame, and have people having nice things about you. And I don't think he want that whiplash of people saying, well, he was doing this with trying, he was doing that, you know, along with trying to get that, you know, gold jacket. You just want to be up there and be, you know, appreciative about what you did for the league and be recognized for that and that only, and not getting into the politics. Because like you say, you can get got done at judge based off what you do when it comes to the politics world. And the best way to do that is stay out of the limelight with that and concentrate on football and be recognized as an Eagle right now, what he's doing.
And so it just shows you, man, how bizarre and crazy times we live in. Like it just doesn't get no crazier than what we're witnessing. And it's only going to get crazy in my belief. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, man, I mean, isn't Trump term going to end soon? The person looked at me, he said, he's only been in office for 6 months. Exactly. And I was just like, oh, it just feels like he's been in office for so long. You know what I mean? It seems like he's been in the seat for so long. It does. Like it feels like he's been in the seat so long, I forget that Joe Biden was president. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like he's been there. Like all I see is Trump, Trump, Trump.
And you talking about reality and what Michelle Obama said about the sports. To be honest with you, right now, we got the biggest reality going on, got done right now in the president office right now. That's the biggest reality show in the world.
We try not to get over political about the show, because obviously there's enough platforms that do it. However, as far as drama, I mean, you're going to wake up, like he's going to give you something every day.
Yes.
Like he's not a boring president. Like there's he's going to give you something for you to chew on every goddamn day. And so it's a lot. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come on back. Wild Willie Podcast Show. All right, everybody, this is a summer movie edition of the Wild Willie Podcast Show. Obviously, we have the great JJ and the outstanding, the backbone of this podcast, Brittany Smith. So the goal was to kind of tap into what we don't know and what we do love about movies. So we decided to put all the movies that we've never seen into a hat, and Britt was going to pick one. Well, the movie she picked was To Kill a Mockingbird. And if you know anything about the book, which is, I think it's a Pulitzer Prize-winning book, it pretty much received every award that a book
classic.
can
They make
receive.
you read it in school when you're growing up.
Yes, if you love reading in school, you're pretty much forced to read this book. Nevertheless, this is by Harper Lee, the author of the book. Well, anyway, they turned it into the movie. And so we decided to say, hey, we're going to turn it into Siskel and Ebert and give our own criticism and our own thoughts on this great movie. We're going to make it bite-sized. We're going to make it fun. For some people, they know the book, they've seen the movie, and they're like, it's a goodie, and it's a classic. For others, like JJ and I, who haven't seen it, and Britt only read the book like I only read the book. I never officially seen the movie. This is the first time me seeing the movie. I'm going to start off with you, Jay. What did you think about To Kill a Mockingbird?
Big Willie? What was the little girl name? Her brother, I forgot her name. They call her
Scout. The girl,
Scout. She reminds me of Holly. I can see her going to school.
I thought the same thing.
And got there beating up on boys. and in
the name of good.
And your son got there. Ford got to come grab her off the bar because she got there. Anything somebody say, she getting on their head. That's the first thing I thought about. I said, "Ooh, that's Holly."
That's funny.
As we push along, some of the fun facts about the film, it says released in 1962. The film was directed by Robert Mulligan and produced by Alan J. Polka. Gregory Peck, who played Atticus, the father, the lawyer, won the Academy Award for Best Picture for his performance, who I thought was outstanding. What's interesting about black and white movies, which I grew up on because my mother was a big savant about black and white movies. My dad loved Westerns and my mother liked black and white movies. So I always went back and forth in between trying to figure out what the hell was on the screen, what was going on. Because I grew up in the colored age, if you will, like colored TV. But they were starched on. My mother was starched on watching black and white TV. So this was interesting. A quick fun facts is the film was shot almost entirely on a Hollywood back lot. But the town of Macomb was carefully recreated to reflect the Depression era of Alabama. Britt, you watched the movie. Thoughts?
All right. Well, all right. So I have some trivia as well that I had looked up. Besides the ones that you brought up, just some financial stuff. It's what we said. It was widely considered one of the greatest movies ever made. Its budget was $2 million, and it made six times that, which was $13 million after inflation. If you're counting inflation, like 2025, that's about $21 million budget in this era, and that the $13 million would equate to about $137 million in box office if you account for inflation. So it did very well. It's one of those films that was selected for the Library of Congress, where they preserve films in the National Film Registry as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. So some movies, there's a bunch of movies in there. Some other examples are like Alien, Apollo 13, Apocalypse Now, Back to the Future, Beverly Hills Cop's in there, Pulp Fiction, 12 Angry Men. And another interesting Oscar fact, even though she didn't win it, Scouts, the woman who played Scout, was actually nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and she was the youngest at the time, at age 9, to be one of the youngest ever to be nominated for an Oscar at age 9. She ended up losing, but that's I didn't accomplish anything at age 9. She got she got nominated for an Oscar. So that was just some of the facts I found also. For me, it's also hard for I like watching older movies, but when I go older, I think of like 80s and 70s. Like, I'm not against watching older movies. Like, I know there's a bunch of people who are like, I don't watch movies in black and white. I don't watch like movies older than the 80s but I can understand why.
So you didn't look at the Andy Griffin?
It's just a slower.
You didn't look at Andy Griffin?
What?
Really?
No, I did not. I grew up watching. I watched like I Love Lucy reruns. What year is that?
That's pretty old.
That's pretty old, right? But I can understand that just thinking about in the context of its time, I can understand the importance of it and just how significant it was for its time. But sometimes it's hard for me to put myself in that place to understand how good something is for its time when I'm viewing it.
Well, I think that's a great point. And I think if you watch the movie Atticus, Atticus, who plays the father in the movie, one of his famous lines in the movie is, we should never judge somebody till we walk in their shoes, till we live in their skin. That was pretty much the theme of the movie. The little backdrop for everybody. So this was supposed to be taking place in Macon, Georgia, rural Macon, Georgia, small country town. Atticus plays a lawyer who is a single father, so to speak. He's raising 2 kids, and he has a black nanny. And there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. What's great about the movie, on top of Atticus being this kind of bold, stern, and this real compromising but sensitive and empathetic-hearted lawyer, he's doing this in pretty much the Depression era of the South, where it's extremely racist and black folks aren't very wanted, they're not wanted. Nevertheless, man, he is forced to defend. Well, he not forced, but he takes the case of defending this black man by the name of Tom Robbins, and it unravels some of the things that picked up while watching this movie. Besides being, the movie taking place in the Deep South, but besides Atticus being a single father, besides the kids who seemed like they had no supervision throughout the whole goddamn movie, even though it felt like, I guess that was a time where you didn't need supervision, right? I guess
nobody's watching those kids back then.
Yeah, them kids was all over the damn house, right? What was also interesting is that as the movie progressed, from Atticus taking this role, as the town is now kind of split between this case of who's right, who's wrong, and obviously this black man is being pretty much put on trial, and he shouldn't be. What's interesting is that the kids are way more self-aware than Atticus and the rest of the movie gives him credit to, right? Like you see the girl Scout, she's kind of narrating through the movie. But I think what's interesting, if you watch the bedtime scene between Scout and Jim, Scout goes on to ask, hey, what was mommy pretty? Because it's pretty much saying like, she wasn't around while the mother was alive, only Jim, the son, was allowed to have those memories. But nevertheless, man, I think it made me realize that sometimes as we live our life and as parents, we try to provide this shelter and this ultra polished life, that kids are way more aware. And there's countless examples of that, right? Like there's a scene where they kind of run out their bed and they run to the aid of their father while he's pretty much in front of a lynch mob,
in front
right?
of the jail. Yeah.
Yeah. And so as much as we kind of prevent our kids from being forced to, I guess, digest our reality, they are aware, and sometimes they help. And throughout the movie, you've seen countless times where they look like they're little pesky kids, but they show up, right? And they kind of show up and save the day themselves. So I thought that was interesting. One question for you, JJ. You growing up in deep Mississippi, right? During hostile times, or not? You know, you're aware of what Mississippi is and the history of Mississippi. Was the story of Tom Robbins, have you ever heard of a story like that? That's in the reality about somebody being on trial and pretty much, being put front and center to be sent to jail, even though they're innocent?
That's all the time down here. And what I looked at is when I saw that, I'm looking at, okay, this you got Atticus got down there sitting here representing the Tom Ford with a jury full of white folks. And it's like you might well just go and lynch me right now because I ain't got a chance. I don't give a darn how innocent I am. And you could just clearly see it on the judge's face. He knew this man was innocent. He got done, and when they said guilty, he was like, "Are y'all serious?" But it's like they was in a time back then where they all had to stick together. It don't matter if the person was innocent or guilty. We gonna stick together because I don't want my daughter looking bad. I don't want everybody sitting here saying she was goddamn a black lover, love black guy. So goddamn, we gotta protect each other, even though she might have did this. We can't embarrass her. That's one thing about them. They always stuck together. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they clearly showed that this man couldn't use but one hand. You cannot use the left hand. So basically, y'all gonna punish this black man for basically just being helpful. The man probably would have got punished if he had told her no. So by him being nice and she calling him over there and he working all the time, he it's like, damn if I do, damn if I don't, because if I don't go over there, who goes to say she ain't gonna make up something and say, God damn it, he disrespected me. So, it was like a no-win situation in this up in Tom, when it comes to Tom. And man, it was just heartbreaking to know that this man cried, letting them know, basically pleading, his innocence, letting them know, I'm innocent. I didn't do this. She came at me. And it's like, to be honest with you, I don't know if you looked at it like this, Big Willie, but it's like when Atticus told him, you are speaking, to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. That's why you here. You put your hand on the Bible, and he was asking questions that he didn't want to answer. It's like when he told the truth, they punished him even more.
Right.
It's like, okay, now I'm getting madder because you telling me she came on to you. So now, if you only had kept that and didn't say nothing, you might would have had a chance. But by you telling us what this woman did, now we mad and we really want to get down and kill you now.
Yeah, that they were madder at the fact that he said he felt sorry for her.
Exactly.
They're more mad at that than possibly the actual alleged assault. That offends him way more than the crime hand than that. In their eyes, after that moment, he's
and guilty. Then my question, Big Willie.
Yeah.
Did he really run? You know what I'm saying?
No, obviously they killed him.
They said he ran and he was scared and they tried to wound him, but he ended up shooting him.
No, but I think that's what was so powerful about the moment when they did book him and he's walking out the courthouse and Atticus turns to him and goes, "Hey, don't give up. We can appeal this."
Exactly.
His face tells you, brother, I'm dead.
He's marching to death.
He was gone. He knew once he got behind them doors with them racist white folks, his life was going to end. That's why he was done crying. I thought it was such a powerful moment because I think Atticus, while he's closing his briefcase, knows that he's going to die too. Yeah. Right. And that's why, and he watched the people in the upper level kind of stand. And it was almost like whether he tried his best or not, the everybody was against him. Right. And I think Atticus is slow kind of, closing the briefcase, getting the stuff together. I think his lawyer mind was like, no, we're going to fight this. But the reality of the situation that he knew Tom was a goner, solely because he was up against all them evil ass white men. I want to ask you this, Britt. There's a character in the movie that I don't want to give the movie away because I really want people to go to watch it, especially this generation, the younger generation.
I mean, there's no spoiler to this. Movie's from 1962. If you get spoiled about this movie, you've had 70 years.
I was shocked by the so-called monster in the movie. Was his name Boo Radley? Boo Radley?
Boo Radley.
Yes.
Boo Radley, right? Boo Radley was played, I forgot who, it was a famous actor too.
Robert Duvall. Very famous.
Robert Duvall played Boo Radley, and I was shocked. And so with all that said,
Now, The Godfather,
I couldn't believe that.
I was surprised Boo Radley looked that good. I was expecting the Elephant Man, the way they described him.
Right, because when I read the book, they made him seem like Lenny from Mice and Men.
Like he was some grotesque, kind of like Swamp Thing looking figure. But Robert Duvall actually looked good. I do want to ask you this, Britt. Do you think at some point they should have revealed Boo Radley earlier? In the movie, I
just like what he looked like,
and when they were trying to run from
confused. I was sitting there trying to figure out the end. Who is that?
Oh, because you were confused about that's him.
Who the hell is that behind the door? I had no idea that was the one everybody was telling them to stay away from.
Right.
No, I mean I guess that's the whole point of the twist and the reveals that this whole legend that they built up to him. He's just a regular guy. He's not this scary guy, this monstrous guy. Like we were saying, we're expecting him to look crazy, and then he gets revealed, and it's just a regular older dude. It's just because of people's prejudice and what they've heard, they built up this giant legend, and then that's the whole. I think the whole point of it is that at the end, not only does he save them, but he's revealed just to be like a regular guy who's just misunderstood, and it's just been kind of ruined by misunderstandings and prejudice and preconceived notions.
So is that
one of the other things? Go ahead, Judge.
Is that what they mean when they say don't judge a person until you walked up in his shoes? Because
I think it was reference. Yeah, but I think that was more in reference to Tom Robbins. I think he was a guy who tried to follow the social norm by staying away. And he kind of knew that, hey, he was putting himself in danger by helping this white lady. And he really was going off his heart rather than what society was telling him to do, which happens to most black folks, right? Yeah. We tend to kind of conform to all right, this person's in trouble. Let me help. Let me be empathetic to what they're going through. And they, like you said earlier, JJ, damn if you do, damn if you don't. I do. Yeah. The young woman
I think it applies to both of them though, because after he gets revealed, after the trial happens, right, and after Tom is killed and stuff like that. So I think it's more of a coda. It applies to both of them, and see what happens and look at what happens when you don't judge somebody like Boo Radley. He comes in and saves the day and stuff like that. It's kind of it can apply to both of them in that it's kind of, they're complementary to each other in the story.
And Scout,
go ahead, Jay, before we wrap it up.
And Scout made a goddamn valuable point. She was like, Daddy, if we go to trial, isn't this like, Killing a Mockingbird?
Right. Well, that was the most powerful line in the movie.
Can't they go with Tom too, though?
100%. 100%. Well, I also think that one of the things outside of Scout, because Scout has two big performances. One, when she identifies Mr. Cunningham when he's a part of the lynch mob. He goes, I play with your son. I know who he is. And da-da-da-da-da. And it kind of speaks kindly of the family and his situation, and that kind of forces the lynch mob to get out of there. On top of that, I thought the sheriff at the end said something that I think people miss. Sometimes the best justice is letting the dead bury the dead, right? Tom had just died, and now this evil-ass hillbilly is stabbed up in the woods somewhere. Sometimes, Atticus, because Atticus wanted to be like, no, we can figure it out. We can somehow save my son and make sure everything's kind of, all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. And the sheriff was like, this man almost killed your son, right? Exactly. Justice is served. I don't want to go down there and deal with this. This is going to add more pressure to Boo Radley. Sometimes the dead will bury the dead. And I thought that was profound because the sheriff was like, I don't want the shit. Yeah, the sheriff was like, I don't want no more shit. You don't need no more. The biggest problem you had around this town is now dead. Let the dust settle. Let's move forward. And it is crazy because that was a white sheriff saying that. You know what I mean? During a time where, you know, a normal white sheriff would be like, no, we're going to get to the bottom of this and everybody's going to, you know, get dealt with. So
I believe if he had been black, Big Willie, it'd have been a different situation. But it was like when they kill their own kind, we can figure it out.
Right. Unfortunately, I agree with you on that. So, all right, that was To Kill a Mockingbird. A quick, I guess, critics review on the movie. I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. JJ, how many stars you get? 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. In between,
10,
or right on the money?
1 through 10.
1 through 5. 5 stars is enough. You don't need 10 stars. Who gives 10 stars?
I got all of them when I was a good boy in school. You remember the board when you get all the stars going across?
Yeah, I think we all were privy to the gold stars.
Big Willie, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was very goddamn it all. You know, it was a good lesson. You know, I learned a lot from it. You know, it was an older movie, but it taught you a lot. You know, about history, about what our people had to go through, and the way they had to live and go through life versus how easy we got it right now compared to what they had it then. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Big Willie, I got to give it a 5 too, because once you sit down and just get into it and just, you know, understand what we had to go through, Big Willie, it's really heartbreaking.
Still
Big
going
Willie.
through.
And the part that really got me is when they had to come home to his wife and tell him that he's dead when they thinking they're gonna have
and that crazy ass hillbilly had the nerve to show back up. I would have buried his ass underneath my house.
What? Big Willie, could you have sat there and let that man spit on you like that?
No, and then he had the nerve to call him boy. Said, "Boy, go get Atticus." Man, I would have stomped a mud hole in that hillbilly. What? Britt, 5 stars or 1 star?
5 for me.
5 for Jay.
5 or 1. I only get those two
in between.
Options.
You know what I mean? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 being the best.
Well, I mean, yeah, I give it a 4 just because this is not about the quality of the movie and the time it was made and everything like that. But you know, it's just a slow start, and you have to like really dive yourself into it and make sure you're committed to watching it, so you don't get distracted and anything like that, because it is a bit slow moving. But that's how those movies were back then. So my rating's not really indicative of the movie. It's more of just like how I experienced it. What about you? Oh, did you already give it?
Yeah, I'm just to repeat it. 5 stars for me. I thought it was great. I thought the book was a little bit better, as I remember it. But overall, the movie, I thought Atticus was probably my favorite figure. Maybe because I'm a dad and I'm emo about it. But I thought Atticus showed a lot of. He was layered, right? Because he could when that hillbilly spit in his face after losing a case. I mean, I would have beat the hell out of that hillbilly in front of my son. Me and them brothers at a point on the porch would have jumped the shit out that hillbilly. So, but he showed
back in 1930.
Well, I think the woman that was across the street from him, when Atticus is talking to the sheriff and she kind of removes herself to kind of console the children, she had another great line. She goes, your father's important because he's bold enough to take on tough challenges where others aren't. And I think that kind of exemplified who he was in the movie, right? Like he was bold, he had structure, he had discipline to him, but he also had a lot of empathy and sensitivity to stand up for a black man who he could have sold down the river and moved on with his life. But he honestly put up a good fight for Tom Robbins, and it just didn't work out in his favor. So Atticus is probably was my favorite character out of all, and that's why I give it a 5.
And then just one more rating from a scale of 1 to 5. How hard was it for you to pull up the movie, JJ?
That was a straight -0, because I went on every goddamn channel. I even got down and had my Fire Stick. Couldn't even pull it up. I could pull anything up on Fire Stick. And then we pay for Amazon. Then it wasn't nowhere to click on it. Got down to Amazon Prime. And I'm like, I'll be damn. And I sent to the Brit said, well, maybe because you got to download. But we had already had it downloaded, Brit.
Well, how did you end up getting it playing? How did you end up playing it?
I just kept working with it. I don't know what the hell happened. I went over there back to the Fire Stick and said it was already paid for, and something magically delicious happened.
It was like 10 p.m. too.
Get back to it. I don't even know if I can get back to it. I told her, don't mess with the TV. We got it right now. Don't mess with nothing. Don't even push pause. Let it play. Let it play.
I was in bed and I'm getting text from him. He's like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. I can't pull this up. I'm like, oh no.
The movie's been out for like generations, so it's crazy. Just a couple of quick fun facts. It says the courtroom set used in the film was an exact replica of the actual courtroom in Harper Lee's hometown of Monroeville, Alabama. So that's what they use. It says the film's success helped further social conversations around race and justice during the civil rights movement. So it seemed like everybody came out and seen it. It was a hit. JJ and Britt, I guess the next time we're on, we have to pick another movie. So we can remove this
Hopefully
one out of the hat.
Hopefully it's something easier.
Yes.
Hopefully it's something easier.
I don't think this was that hard.
Yes. I ain't
For
never in my
JJ to
life
pick,
been that hard
apparently.
to find a movie. And my wife was trying to find it. I know she a computer jit with. She said, I don't know how the hell Willie find it. I said, I don't know. Well, you need to come in here. I told her, well, damn it, if you can't get it on, how the hell you think I'm going to get it?
Great.
I said, if you can't figure it out, how I'm going to figure it out?
JJ, summer is, well, it's interesting because you're in the South and school's already back for you. Kids are already reporting back. High school football is already up and running. And it looks like things are starting to turn over for the South. Up here in the North, our kids are still out and on vacationing. For everybody that's out in Martha's Vineyard, living the high elitist black summer and doing all the things that black folks love to do in Martha's Vineyard, which is up in the New England area. People are still enjoying this summer. One of the things I get annoyed at, JJ, and I think we've kind of talked about this, is when I'm walking around and I already see Thanksgiving and October things in the goddamn supermarket. Yes. And it makes me absolutely pissed off because too, why, JJ? It is still summer. Can we still be present? Can we still enjoy the barbecues, the campfires, the pool, having people over, sun tanning, putting dipping your feet in some sand, jumping in and out of the ocean, the things that you should love about summer, it's still here. So this is a little kind of I don't know what the call is, but I'm just trying to say to everybody, especially everybody out there, stop putting fast forward on our seasons, right? Yes. Stop pressing fast forward. Let's enjoy the season, JJ. So I'm not letting go of summer. I'm going to continue to hold on to summer. And I don't give a damn that the South is already in the school. I don't give a damn that Friday Night Lights is about to begin for you guys. Football is upon us, which is a big season for us because we're both diehard football fans. But also summer is still here. So, yes, I know football calls for fall weather, but I'm in summer weather, and I want to enjoy the goddamn summer before the weather turns and we back in bubble coats and wearing wool hats. So before we do that, I'm holding on to summer, JJ.
Exactly, Big Will. I'm tired of going to Lowe's and Home Depot, seeing the big werewolves looking down on me, talking about, getting ready for Halloween, and the skeletons with the light eyes, the eyes lighting up, goddamn it, and the goddamn the fences talking about entering your own risk, and we still in summer. Better yet, Big Willie, they even goddamn it, summer ain't even over with yet. August is the hottest goddamn month, and Dillard's already got their polos and Psycho Bunny goddamn it trunks. They swim trunks on sale, Big Willie, from $100 to $80 to $30, Big Willie. So you need to go online, Big Willie, before they run out and go and order you a pair, because that's a damn good deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go grab throw some things in the bag, go scoop some gear.
Yes, sir.
Do that
because they're gonna run out quick.
So with all that said, for everybody, don't feel anxious, don't feel rushed. Even though the stores are trying to push you along, you can boycott that emotions and those feelings by saying, fuck you, I'm staying in summer and I'm going to enjoy my summer. Damn you, Halloween. Damn you, Thanksgiving. Damn you, Christmas. I will talk to you when the time is right. But right now, summer is here and I ain't going nowhere.
No, that's right. Us Leo's still intact, baby. We ain't going nowhere. We here.
Wife's birthday's coming up. We'll talk about that on the next episode. Got to prepare for that.
And I know you got something big planned for her, Big Willie. You know she's looking forward to it.
I actually have nothing planned. That's what I'm about to call you.
Big Willie. Don't you get in that doghouse, Big Willie.
We're going to get out of here. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby. We'll see you next week.
Peace.